Hey guys, back at you. Rick Shaw on the 17th still. The guys started working on the tank over there. They're getting their preliminary stuff ready to get their work done. But do have to say something about yesterday when I was driving around. I was out for quite a long time looking for a couple bolts. Wound up getting them, but I do have to say I had a blast because I was on the bike. I took a ride on the machine. Huge circle, a very big circle. Took around to get what I needed done around here. If you're going to come here, it is really nice to have a bike. You have to be careful. I mean, when I'm riding, I have my head on a swivel. I'm watching my mirrors like you wouldn't believe, because they'll come up and pass you on the right, the left, groups of bikes. You have to be prepared for that. Somebody hits you in the handlebar from behind you, you're going down. That's just all there is to it. So you have to be real careful. My style of riding is if I'm in front and I can get out in front, I'll do that. If not, I'll just be tailing Charlie. I'll let all them guys get ahead and try to give myself a little bit of space. You have to watch out. That's all there is to it. Be real careful. But I put quite a few kilometers on the bike yesterday. It was my goodness, 60 just yesterday. So that was a pretty good ride, almost just short of 60. But that was a pretty good ride. It was quite a while going to the different shops and stuff like that. I got the way they do the service here on these bikes. They want you to bring them in on a time limit, even if you don't have the miles on them. And I haven't really been getting as much riding as I wanted in here. But I do want to say something else too about when you're driving here. Don't be like in the States. You beep your horn, somebody's flipping you the bird. They're mad at you. It's like when you beep the horn, it's an accusation. So it does a lot of times. It doesn't turn out well. I actually seen a woman beeped her horn in front of us, and the guy got out of the car and started screaming at her because he didn't go on a green light. He had got a green arrow, and he was just sitting there.
I tied it.
Okay, buddy. And so she tooted her horn, and it wasn't no big blaring toot. And he jumped out of the car and started screaming at her. But it's not like that here. Use your horn. Let people know. Like when I'm coming up on a motorcycle and he's kind of in the right part of the lane or something like that, I toot just so he looks in the mirror and sees me. Same way with the cars. If I'm filtering, I'll toot the horn. Let them know. Now, a lot of times when I'm driving into traffic or stuff, I'm not in any kind of big hurry. It's not like these delivery drivers that are just, they're just smoking through there and stuff. And plus, they have a heck of a lot more experience than I do. Where I come from, you weren't allowed to filter. Now, in California, I believe that you're not allowed to either, but it's not enforced by anybody. Cops, everybody does it. And that's where I got my first taste of filtering. But the roads are much different there than they are here. Here you got to be real careful. There's ditches and ruts off to the right-hand side that if you go into, you're going down. And if you fall in the street, there's a good chance you're going to get run over. So you got to be real careful of that. There are certain times when I see guys, a bunch of bikes will filter off to the right where there's a ditch or something. I'm not going to do it. This one here, I'm going to say it again. I said this before about this bike. If you're going to buy it for a tricycle, it seems like it would be a really good machine for that. But if you're going to buy it for just a single bike, and I just wouldn't recommend it. It's not as stable as other bikes I've been on. It's a Yamaha. They do a really good job on their bikes, I have to admit that. But this is basically made for a tricycle. So, and that's what I bought it for. I'm going to wait the year for the registration, and then we'll put some sort of a tricycle on it. So I got a City Traveler. And I had a tricycle before. I loved it. I just loved it. And around here, it's nice to have something like that because parking is just not, for the car. I just get to the point where I just hate taking the car out anywhere. Now, when I go do the shopping, the big grocery shopping and stuff, we have to. That's just a part of the deal. We go at certain times now. We're timing it to where we don't hit too much. And sometimes we hit it. Doesn't matter what. We went out the other day. They're doing some road construction on the sewers over on this road. And it didn't matter which way you wanted to go. You were going to get stuck, even if we went the back way. It just was a real slow-moving thing. Traffic cops were out there doing their best. It just there was a lot of construction. Every time this big digger would have to turn, they'd have to stop it. So, and that's anywhere. And that was that took quite a while to get through when we were in the car last time. Now, when I was out yesterday on the bike, it was no problem. I was able to get through and get around. And just be careful when you're here too. When they got these traffic cops, and I watched a guy get stopped yesterday. They're not always in the same spot. A traffic cop might put his hand up for you to stop, and he might be way over the left behind a vehicle and you miss it, or he could be over on the right. Some of them, their clothes are kind of dingy because they're out in the sun and the smog all day, so it's hard to spot them. They don't have like lime green fluorescent vests or orange ones or anything like that. They've got they got like a blue one. So you keep your eyes really on the lookout for them. Way before you get to any kind of intersection or thoroughfare, start looking for them. Now, there was a fella, he was a Grab driver, was in front of me. I seen him on the left. He was getting people to turn left, and then he wanted to stop everybody the way we were going so that they could turn left. And I saw him, but both of us, this guy was right in front of me, and there was a big truck that was going straight. He wasn't making the left turn, and they stopped him, and this bike just breezed right through. And I stopped. I was watching for the guy. I figured he was going to have a stop when the truck stopped. Well, this Grab driver just kept on rolling. And the one on the other side, on the other side of the road, stopped him, basically grabbed him. And when I drove past, he was handing him his license, so he probably got himself a ticket. And so be real wary of that and watchful of that when you're driving your machine. They do have out here in this area, they have a lot of checkpoints when you're driving your bike. Now, they've never asked me out here for the ORCR. That's basically your title, but always make a copy of that. But yesterday, all the driving around I did, I made a huge circle. I went a good way to Padre Garcia, made a big loop all the way up through Lipa. I actually took a couple roads where I was, where does this go? And I found a couple new shortcuts I could take. The one road we take, I would come up to that road, and then it would make a left-hand bend, and there was a road to the right, and I'd never been on it. So I would just go straight and then go out to make a right to the main drag. Always traffic there. There's a Pure Gold there. There's all kinds of stuff. That's a prop plane. You can tell by the sound. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to try this one. It looked like it was going to go into the neighborhood, probably going to be a dead end, and I'll just turn around. I wasn't in any big hurry. I was just having a beautiful motorcycle ride. Not a lot of traffic back there, a lot of tricycles, and it did go through a little neighborhood. But guess what? Came out on the main drag. It went back in behind the Pure Gold, and I was like, oh, this is cool. So now not a good place for a car because it was very, very narrow, what we would call like a donkey path. But when I'm on the bike, I really liked it. Different areas when I moved around the country, I used to always get on the bike and get myself lost and find my way home. It's tougher to do with the kids, since I got the kids now. They always want to go. I can't really take them out on the road. And be honest with you, I don't think I'm gonna. I don't think I'm gonna put the kids on the back of a bike and ride them here. There's too many chances for damage, so. But I still, even though I still recommend a bike here. I myself have been riding since I was a little kid. Always had a bike. I actually here was the longest I ever went without a bike. I went from, I think it was 216 up until I got this one. Just didn't have them. Bummer. Needed one. Just didn't want to spend the money because everything was going into here. Oh, not yet. It's too early. They're just having breakfast yet, okay? And they got to get cleaned up too, just like you did, okay? Got your nice white shirt on today. He's my little guy who likes to tuck his shirt in. and Mr. Jammy Man over here. Yeah, but just when you're riding, if you come here and you get a motorcycle, just be careful. Another thing I would honestly say, if you could get one that's like the Mio's too small for me, that's got the automatic. They have the Click from Honda. They got a bunch of them that have that. The SkyDrive from Suzuki, I believe. There's a whole bunch of them, and not having to shift. Yesterday I actually did something really dumb, something I hadn't done in 25 years. I've been having to use I use my heel now. I'm getting used to that. Use my heel to upshift, and then that to downshift. And I got to a point where I needed some power because some guy cut in on the side of the road, and I needed some big time power. And I went. My brain went the wrong way, and I kicked it the wrong way. Don't know why I did that, but just with something you got to watch. So if you anything like with an automatic or something, that'd be really cool. That would be a good idea. Seems the real popular motorcycle out here is that Mio. You see most of the delivery drivers got them. They got an automatic where they can have their power on tap and they don't got to worry about shifting or anything. Plus you don't have to use your clutch hand. You know, I see a lot of those guys with a cup holder and they got their coffee. They got their coffee on there. They're having their morning coffee on their ride through work. But that seems to be a good one, and I've seen a lot of guys. They'll have a big 25 kilo bag of rice sitting in the center, and they're carrying that, or they got all kinds of packages. They go to the store and buy them. That seems to be a pretty good machine. For me, it was quite small. It wasn't too good, but there's other ones. And if you're going to be heavy, I worked at a motorcycle shop when I first got here, and the fellow that run that, there's getting to be some big Filipinos. Some of the guys that were at the call center, I would say, weighed 220, 230. And these little Mios are set up for super lightweight. Well, what they do with them on that, the way that you might call it a clutch, it's a centrifugal type thing. It's got little weights in there. And one of the things that June at the bike shop was doing is he was taking the factory weights out and putting heavier ones in, so that it would grab a little bit better for the guys driving, and it made their belts and everything last longer. So that's something you could think of if you're heavier, and it's going to be a daily thing. Mostly they have the real light one on there. If a husband's driving his wife, it's not too often. So they put a light one in there, mostly for a single driver. But I am amazed at how much weight people put on those little Mios, and you don't hear of too much trouble with them. Another Yamaha project. I was really amazed when June was doing one where the guy ran out of oil and popped the motor, so it was going to be a rebuild on the upper part of the motor. And the way the bike came apart, the bike came out in two pieces, and he basically just worked on it easy as could be, right on the thing with the back wheel connected. It was basically cut in half right here, and then the motor was sticking forward. He could get to everything easy. He had it rebuilt. He had the machine to rehome the cylinder. He had all the rings and everything he needed, and I was amazed at how quickly he got it done and running and good. And while he was in there, he did some adjustments on the carb. That one had a carb. I think the new one's got fuel injection, but this was 8 years ago, and I think that one still had a carb on it. But that particular machine, that dude still drives it. There's a lot of them that say, I had one friend said he was going to get rid of it and go get the newer one and all that. And I said, well, what for? You got like 40,000 on this thing. It's a baby. keep riding it. Save your money. He was going to go into a payment on it. Me, I was always against getting payments on stuff. If you can help it, try not to, especially for like a bike or something. Now, some of these guys, they got to have them. That's their way to work. But here, you can pretty much get anywhere. My wife goes into town quite a bit, and I just take her to the gate, and she can jump on a jeepney, go right to the market, get anything she needs. It's very inexpensive. Even if she's got to take a tricycle. Tricycles out here in Olympic City are considerably more than what they were in Carmona. It's amazing how much how much more it is here, but I think it's, I wouldn't say it's higher end here. I really wouldn't. But it's just more. They got a lot of rules too. I think that could be it. They have a lot of rules here where there's places tricycles not allowed to go. That's why I want to get that trailer type thing. It looks like a little jeepney back on the bike because it has 4 wheels, and I would be exempt. I even asked one of the traffic cops there if I would be exempt. He said yeah, and he knew what I was talking about. I told him it looks like a jeepney back, and he goes, the 4 wheels, 2 on the bike, 2 on the trailer, and yeah, and he goes, exempt. So at least I'll be able to drive that through, because I went on a tricycle a couple times, and yeah, they got to make some real turns and twisties, and if they make a mistake and go on one of those, they're definitely going to get tickets. And I have seen riding around, not yesterday, but numerous times where their tricycle drivers pulled over, and the guys are asking for his license, and they got their book out. They got that black book they got hooked on their belt, and that's got to be tough for a guy who isn't making a lot of money in the first place. I don't know what the fines are going to be, but some of them, I just saw a video from one of the other vloggers said he got a ticket on his bike, and he said, how much is the fine going to be? And the guy says they'll determine that down at the barangay. So maybe if they go in with a real sob story and their wife comes in, it could get lowered down to 20 pesos or something like that. I'm not sure, but enough to scare them to make them so they don't do that. So, but I'm gonna let you go. I did have a good ride yesterday. There was no big scares on it or anything like that. I kept moving. I had my plan of how I was gonna go around, and I think next time there's a real good hardware store down at Padre Garcia. I mean, it's huge, and I was there before. It's just a little bit of a ride, and I might go that one. And then out by Wes's place, there's a screw and nut place that he says has everything possible, and I think I might try that one if I need anything like this again. I think I'm going to be pretty much done on all that stuff now. I got all the stuff like that I need to do finished. Plus, I have a lot of hardware here. It's just all buried. It's all buried behind me. I want to get that big cabinet here next and get all that kind of stuff put in the cabinet and clear this area up. The only problem is it's a steel one, so I got to get something underneath it so it doesn't get all wet. Yeah, there's one. Look at that. There's a big stainless one. I have noticed here in this country too, before I let you go, a lot of the stuff that looks like stainless isn't, because it rusts like crazy. Look at that. When you looked at these nuts on this bike right here, it was shiny like stainless. Man, look at that. Look how that's rusting. It's just terrible. And on a couple other things too. I have a thing upstairs that stainless bolts. It even said right in this, it says stainless bolts. Guess what? They're rusty. So it just must be a real low quality of stainless. And another thing I've noticed, like chrome and stuff, chrome don't last here. It just gets eaten right through. I don't know if it's the application of it or just the moisture. Like the kids' bikes, we don't really let them sit in the rain. They're always covered up or anything. It's just the moisture in the air. Everything gets wet. It was like when I was years ago when I brought a lot of leather shoes from the States. I couldn't believe how much fungus got on them and ruined them. I mean, it just ruined them. Better off, if you can, to buy shoes here, because they don't seem to get that. They do have a lot of shoes look like dress shoes, and they're made out of rubber. So they know what to watch out for. So you guys all take care, and this is Rick Shaw out again.